10 AI systems, 10 real applications, each one doing something that medicine said was impossible until it wasn't. These aren't prototypes sitting in university labs. They are deployed. They are approved. They are being used in hospitals, clinics, and research institutions right now, diagnosing cancer earlier than any human can, designing drugs in weeks instead of years, predicting life-threatening events 12 hours before they happen. In this episode, we count down the 10 AI tools that are genuinely, measurably changing medicine, what each one does, why it matters, and what it means for the future of your health. Let's count them down. We start with a tool that doesn't make headlines, but has already given doctors something priceless: their time back. Nuance DAX, developed by Microsoft, is an AI-powered ambient clinical documentation system. In simple terms, the doctor talks to the patient, the AI listens, and a complete structured clinical note is generated automatically. No dictation, no typing, no after-hours paperwork. The results from early deployments are striking. Physicians using DAX report reducing documentation time by up to 50%, and more importantly, they report feeling more present with patients. Less screen time, more eye contact, more trust. When we talk about AI changing medicine, we often picture dramatic diagnostic breakthroughs. But sometimes the most important change is simply giving doctors back the hours they spend on administrative work, hours that belong to patients. Tool number 9 addresses one of the oldest problems in medicine: getting to a doctor in the first place. Babylon Health built an AI-powered symptom assessment and triage system that allows patients to describe their symptoms, answer guided questions, and receive a clinically validated assessment of likely conditions, along with recommended next steps, in minutes via smartphone. Babylon partnered with the UK's National Health Service and expanded into Rwanda, where it now serves millions of patients who have little to no access to in-person primary care. In Rwanda, Babylon's AI triage system has handled more than 2 million consultations. This is not a replacement for a doctor. It is access to a medically informed first response for patients who otherwise had nothing. Tool number 8 is changing what it means to treat cancer. Tempest is an AI platform that analyzes a cancer patient's genomic profile, the specific mutations driving their tumor, and cross-references it against one of the largest real-world clinical and molecular datasets in oncology. The result? A personalized treatment recommendation built around the biology of that specific patient's cancer. This matters because cancer is not one disease. Breast cancer alone has multiple molecular subtypes, and a treatment that works for one can be completely ineffective for another. Tempest tells you which drug has the highest probability of working for this tumor, in this patient, based on thousands of real-world outcomes. Over 7,000 oncologists in the US now use Tempest. It is not a future promise. It is a clinical workflow running today. Tool number 7 operates in the most time-critical window in medicine: the minutes after a stroke begins. Every minute after a stroke starts, 1.9 million brain neurons die. The faster a large vessel occlusion is identified and treated, the more brain and life is saved. The problem? CT scans of suspected strokes require a specialist to read them. Specialists aren't always immediately available. Viz.ai is an FDA-cleared AI system that analyzes CT scans for signs of large vessel occlusion strokes automatically in real time and sends an alert directly to the on-call neurovascular team's phone. Before a radiologist has reviewed the scan, studies show Viz.ai reduces the time from CT scan to treatment by an average of 52 minutes. 52 minutes. In a stroke, that is the difference between full recovery and permanent disability. Viz.ai is now deployed in over 1,200 hospitals across the United States. Tool number 6 is rewriting the economics of drug discovery. Traditional drug discovery is slow and expensive by design. Identifying which molecules have therapeutic potential requires years of laboratory testing. Recursion Pharmaceuticals has built an AI-driven drug discovery platform that runs biological experiments at a scale no human lab can match. 2.2 million experiments per week. Here's how it works. Recursion combines automated biology, robotics that run cellular experiments continuously, with AI that analyzes the imaging results, identifies patterns of biological activity, and flags drug candidates for further development. The AI can detect subtle cellular changes invisible to the human eye. Recursion currently has multiple drug programs in clinical development, including candidates for rare genetic diseases that the traditional pharmaceutical industry had little commercial incentive to pursue. AI is opening doors that economics had kept closed. Tool number 5 is historic, and most people have never heard of it. In 2018, the FDA approved the first-ever autonomous AI diagnostic system, IDx-DR. This is a system that analyzes retinal photographs for signs of diabetic retinopathy, a leading cause of blindness, and delivers a diagnostic result without any physician involvement at the point of care. Why is this significant? Because diabetic retinopathy affects over 100 million people worldwide. The standard of care requires a specialist, an ophthalmologist, to read the images. Most primary care clinics don't have one. Patients wait for referrals. Disease progresses. Blindness develops. With IDx-DR, a primary care doctor's office can screen every diabetic patient at every annual visit. No specialist required. No referral wait. The AI reads the image and tells the doctor, refer or no refer, immediately. This is what AI democratization of medicine looks like in practice. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. Every week we break down the AI and medical breakthroughs that are actually changing lives. You won't find this level of detail anywhere else on YouTube. Now, let's get into the top 4. Tool number 4 you may have heard of, because it earned a Nobel Prize. DeepMind's AlphaFold solved one of biology's hardest problems, predicting the 3D structure of proteins from their amino acid sequence alone. A challenge that had defeated science for 50 years, solved with an AI trained on known protein structures. We covered AlphaFold in depth in a previous episode, but for context, DeepMind released the AlphaFold protein structure database in 2021, providing predicted structures for over 200 million proteins, essentially the entire known protein universe, available to every researcher on Earth for free. The downstream impact on drug discovery has been immediate. Understanding a protein's shape tells researchers how it functions and how to design a drug molecule that blocks or activates it. Research that took years now takes days. For neglected diseases where research funding is scarce, AlphaFold has been a democratizing force, giving under-resourced labs the same structural biology capability as the largest pharmaceutical companies on Earth. Tool number 3 is saving lives by seeing what humans cannot. 12 hours into the future. Sepsis, a life-threatening immune response to infection, kills more than 270,000 Americans every year. It is notoriously difficult to detect early because its symptoms mimic dozens of other conditions. By the time sepsis is clinically obvious, the window for effective intervention is often already narrowing. Johns Hopkins researchers developed an AI system called the Targeted Real-Time Early Warning System, TREWS, that continuously monitors ICU patient data, vital signs, lab results, medication records, fluid balance, and predicts sepsis onset up to 12 hours before clinical symptoms appear. A clinical trial at 5 Johns Hopkins hospitals showed that TREWS reduced sepsis mortality by 18%. 18 in a disease that kills 250,000 people annually in the US alone. 12 hours of early warning. That is the gift that AI gives clinicians, not to replace their judgment, but to give them time to use it. Tool number 2 has been in operating rooms for over 2 decades, but what it is becoming is fundamentally different from what it started as. The Vinci surgical system is the world's most widely used robotic surgery platform, with over 10 million procedures performed globally. At its core, it translates a surgeon's hand movements into precise robotic arm motions, filtering tremors, scaling movements, and providing a magnified 3D view of the surgical field. The next generation, Intuitive's Da Vinci 5, launched in 2024, adds AI-assisted tissue recognition. The system can identify and highlight critical anatomical structures in real time during surgery, helping surgeons avoid inadvertent damage to nerves and blood vessels. AI-assisted robotic surgery has demonstrated measurable reductions in complications, blood loss, and recovery time across prostatectomy, hysterectomy, and colorectal procedures. The surgeon is still in control, but they now have an AI co-pilot watching every move. And at number 1, the tool that represents where all of this is heading. Google DeepMind's MedGemini is the most advanced medical AI reasoning system ever evaluated. In benchmark testing published in 2024, MedGemini achieved physician-level performance across a range of clinical reasoning tasks, including reading and interpreting medical images, synthesizing complex patient histories, and generating differential diagnoses from multimodal inputs. Images, lab values, clinical notes, and patient-reported symptoms simultaneously. What separates MedGemini from earlier medical AI is multimodality, the ability to reason across different types of medical data at the same time. A radiograph and a lab report and a medication list are not separate inputs. They are part of one patient, one biological story, and MedGemini is beginning to read that story the way the best clinicians do. It is not deployed broadly in clinical care yet. The regulatory pathway for autonomous clinical AI reasoning is complex, and appropriately so. But the capability exists, and it is maturing rapidly. The question for the next 5 years is not whether AI can reason at a clinical level. The question is how we build the governance, the trust, and the oversight frameworks to deploy it responsibly. Here's what these 10 tools have in common, and what they don't. They work. The evidence is real. The outcomes are measurable. But every single one of them was developed primarily using data from well-resourced health systems, predominantly in wealthy countries. And AI models trained on that data inherit its blind spots. An algorithm trained mostly on data from one demographic will perform less well on another. That is not a hypothetical concern. It has been documented in cardiovascular AI, dermatology AI, and pain assessment systems. These tools are changing medicine. The next challenge is ensuring they change it for everyone. 10 tools, 10 problems being solved in diagnostics, documentation, surgery, drug discovery, and genomic medicine. The pace of this is only accelerating. What takes years today will take months tomorrow. What requires a specialist today will be accessible anywhere tomorrow. If you want to track that acceleration, every week, broken down and explained clearly, subscribe to MedPulse. We'll keep you ahead of it. Here's the question I want to leave you with. If an AI system could detect your cancer 2 years earlier than any human doctor, but it was trained on data that doesn't reflect your demographic, would you trust it? Drop your answer below.